You're now listening to the 11:30 podcast. Enjoy the show.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 11:30 podcast, Dre and Willsy is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 11:30 podcast, Dre.
Yo, what it do, everybody, man? Welcome back to the 11:30 podcast. What's good? Y'all already know what it is, man. It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, man. We back at it. Another episode of the podcast show, man. I'm here. You know what time it is. It's not 7:30. It's 11:30, man. Appreciate everyone definitely tuning in here on YouTube, man, for a new episode, man, of the 11:30 podcast show. It's going to be a great one. Got an amazing guest that's going to be joining me here on the show. Before we dive into it, man, y'all already know, man, definitely hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't done so already. Like it, leave a comment, and share it. Do all that great stuff, and don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. All right, man. Like I said, great guest, great show ahead of us. Evelyn, you guys, yes, Evelyn. Make sure I'm saying that right, man. For real. Evelyn is joining me here on this week's episode of the 11:30 podcast. She's a domestic violence abuse survivor. She's an advocate. She's a motivational speaker. You guys, man, just to name a few. She's going to be here chatting with me, Drake, man, the host of the show, and sharing her amazing story and much, much more, man. But we ain't gonna waste no more time. We're gonna bring on the lovely Evelyn. How's it going? How's it going?
Hi, everything's going well. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Doing wonderful. Excited to another episode of the podcast show. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you.
All right. No problem. No problem. Hey, look here, that's good. Another day is great. It's blessed. And I appreciate you for taking the invite, coming on the podcast show. Where you from?
I'm from Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina. Okay. I dig it. I definitely got family in South Carolina. I don't know, man. If you live on the East Coast, I feel like definitely from like DC, Maryland, Virginia, and you ain't got family in South Carolina,
Definitely.
man. I don't know, man. Like it's a little sketchy though, but definitely got a bunch of family up there in the Carolinas. That's awesome. How the weather is today?
It's nice outside. I think it may
Okay.
be in the 60s, close to 70.
Okay. Cool. It's looking nice here. Definitely got to go outside, take a little man outside. But once again, Evelyn, I appreciate you once again for coming through here on the 11:30 podcast show. It's your first time having you on the show. But for my listeners and viewers that's not familiar with you, do you mind? I like to have. I like to, have the guests to have the floor. Mind telling everyone about yourself.
Well, my name is Evelyn Hemphill. As I just stated, I'm from South Carolina. I'm a domestic violence advocate and survivor. Also, I'm trying to break into motivational speaking just to tell my story about what happened in South Carolina, hoping that it will empower other communities and other survivors of domestic violence.
Okay. Cool. You said you trying to get into motivational speaking, and I know this is not the easiest for you talking about trauma and stuff. When it did sort of hit you to be able to open up and share your story, because I know from, like I said, trauma is not an easy thing to sort of dial back in or go back into the past and talk about certain things that may have or may you know have happened to you and stuff like that. So, you mind, sharing that, part of the story of, when did you, sort of get in a safe space to want to share your stories to motivate and help other women?
I That happened because I'm a two times domestic violence survivor. Actually, it happened
Okay.
once when I was a teenager, and then when I became married, and I went to the same sort of the same broken system, and there was like a 30-year gap in between each instance, and nothing had changed. So that's what motivated me to become a advocate and to talk about the broken system that we have in the South.
Okay. When you say system, though, can you mind clarifying what you mean on, the
Well,
system?
sure. it's the legal system. We don't get, I don't feel like we get due justice in the Carolinas. It's just a broken, backwards legal system. And I don't run the legal system, but I have been involved in it, and it just doesn't work for the people, whether it be criminal or civil. This time, where it was mainly civil this time, but there was some criminal involved in it, but it doesn't work for the system. It doesn't work for the people.
Hmm. So being this survivor, and obviously you're talking about the system, where you are trying to get help and whatnot, and the system that you're referring to wasn't doing the best to provide you with that service and help and need that you needed, right?
That's correct. And because the system failed, I had to take the law into my own hands by becoming my own attorney.
Mm.
Even though I
Oh,
had paid attorneys that I paid, they did not render justice to me. So I had to become my own attorney.
mm. Now,
And
I was
basically,
no,
huh?
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Basically, I'm exposing the system, the injustices that happened to me in the South Carolina family court system. So that's what I'm doing now.
But can you take us through that process also? You said you're, pulling this layer back and sort of, revealing, the justice system and what they're sort of doing or done. And you also mentioned this started, at a young age, and, going to the system and going to, trying to find help or such. And it seemed like it just kept repeating itself.
It repeated itself. And as I said, I was a different person back in the day when I went through the domestic violence, but I was able to, get a professional job and stuff after that. But nothing has changed. And when I noticed that nothing had changed, and South Carolina is number 6 or 7 in the nation for domestic violence, I decided to speak out. And unfortunately, the court system was involved in this, so I have to speak out about the court system also.
So meaning, they didn't. So when you went to, the police station, or went to try to, get help, what was it? What was the response?
It seemed like I was made to be a liar. The times when I was asking the court for restraining orders, and I made reports and stuff, and it was hard to even get any type of anything done, especially in the town where everything happened at. I moved back to my original town, which is Rock Hill, but there's a small town called Chester, South Carolina. It's south of Rock Hill. And when I tell you it's almost next to impossible to get justice in that town, that's how it is. But when I
Hmm.
came back to Rock Hill, there was a little bit of justice, but not much.
Uh, I think is I'm very it's interesting of what you're saying, because you would think in a way, and I'm from Washington D.C., but anywhere in the world, we are all humans, man. We all have a soul, so we should all treat one another the same. But you would think, and especially in this time, in this day, in 2024, when a woman come to you know the system or the police or someone to enter their help or something, and you confining them and say, yo, this had happened to me or that had happened to me. You would think, someone wants to do something and not have um, men just be putting their hands on women. Did you think that it was sort of they were not trying to listen to you because of you were a woman?
I think they just that in the South, it's still like I the domestic violence numbers are so high. It's like it's okay for people to be abused. And I'm not going to say it's all women that get abused because I'm a woman. There are
Hmm.
some men that are abused, but most of the time it's women.
Right. Hmm.
And a
Yeah.
lot of women have lost their lives because of the broken system. I'm grateful to be here today. I'm glad that I'm alive. I'm also glad that I'm not in jail because it almost makes you want to take the law into your own hands when you try to do the right thing and no one listens.
Mhm. I think that is definitely something else right there. From being in that position, uh, in sharing the story right there. Why if you may know, I know you probably don't have the questions to everything, but why is it that South Carolina has sort of the highest domestic violence rate?
I just think that this state is ran by the majority of men, I believe, and not to be biased against men, but this is my opinion. It's just not taken seriously. They have, this is a southern state that I live in. Men, I'm going to go ahead and say Caucasian men, they are mainly in charge of everything. And a lot of them, I'm not going to say all, but
Mhm.
some of them just don't, I don't think that they take this stuff seriously.
Well, I mean, from what you said and everything that you told me, I don't think they take it seriously anyway. For South Carolina, for certain southern states such as like you mentioned, South Carolina to be one of the highest uh, you know, rated percentage of there with domestic violence.
Yeah,
I think that is outrageous. Because when where I'm from, something happens to you, obviously you don't want to take it into your own hands. Sometimes it could definitely go that way. But as a woman and someone coming to you and say, "Hey, I feel violated or I'm hurt or whatever," and this person put their hands on me, you would think that it wouldn't be, oh well, just we'll get to it when we get to it, or shove it off or rub it to the back. So I think that is, I don't even have the worst word. I don't even have the worst word. You said all of this began when you were young, though. Did you have anyone that you could find to while you got young, or it just sort of kept it to yourself?
well, it happened in another relationship that I was involved in. And I will say, I was younger and I did take the law into my own hands a couple of times because it was a different ball game back then. But when I became an adult, hey, I have a job and I have a family, and I could not behave in the same manner as I did when I was a teenager. So that's why I went to the authorities, and the authorities did not take me seriously. And I had to go in and be my own attorney so that I
Hmm.
could expose everything that happened over the 12-year time period.
Wow, 12 years though. You say you had to be your own attorney. How did that? What was the process of you becoming
Oh
your
my
own attorney?
God, that was agonizing. But I'm grateful that I was able to do it because it was me. I was desperate. And I had a child involved in the situation. So I'm pretty, I would say I'm okay. I'm kind of like educated or whatever, I would say. So it took a lot of time, even though I'm not an attorney, but it took a lot of time to unravel everything that happened.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was
Are
hard.
you? I can I can only imagine. I can only imagine. You said 12 years though, but
And
uh, my,
I paid out a lot of money. I paid out over $100,000 during that process. That's with
wow.
paying child support, paying gardening items, paying legal fees, and I'm not an unfit mother, but
Okay,
I
that was
had to do that.
okay. That was sort of my next thing I was going to get to when you said you had to pay child support, and I was like. You know, why child support?
I had to pay child support because custody of the child was taken from me and granted to my abuser. But I can say I want to be transparent. The reason why I went into family court, number one, I was a battered wife. And I did tell a friend about it, but I didn't try to go public with it. I think I should have probably have gone public with it. Maybe I wouldn't have ended up in the situation that I ended up in, but I ended up stepping outside my marriage. I did have an affair. I'm gonna put that on the table right now. I'm being transparent only because I was a battered wife. When you're in a situation like that, sometimes you may not make decisions as you normally would. But
Hmm.
anyway, because I stepped outside that marriage, my child had to pay for it also.
Oh,
And
oh,
never
okay.
being an unfit mother, I don't drink
Hmm.
alcohol, I don't do drugs, I don't do anything. But I made that one mistake of stepping outside the marriage, and we had to get legal representation. I was served with divorce papers. I went and retained an attorney that failed to show up to court after he had gotten my money.
Hmm.
And the court entered judgments against me temporarily. We got to the final hearing. They allowed those same judgments to stay, and I basically lost everything, including my child.
Okay. Okay. But okay. You say you had an affair. You had an affair, and what was that? Was the reason for the divorce?
The person found out about the affair, and they said that they wanted to get a divorce based on those circumstances, but
Okay.
ignoring everything that they had done over the years, all of the abuse and everything. They just played like they were an innocent person, and the court believed them.
Wow. But how? How did how was it that the court just believed the guy if he was sort of the abuser?
Because every attorney that I hired, I had no legal representation. My voice was silenced.
Wow. Hmm. I think that is something else, man. I think
But
that is really something.
in 2018, after four attorneys and three garden ad litems, and I was before four judges, I was like, I'm tired of this. I take it into my own hands. And that's when I became a pro se litigant. I self represented myself, and I was able to go back into family court, and face an attorney. I faced a licensed attorney, and I'm not an attorney. But
Hmm.
then I lost the case there, I think because the system was so embarrassed, they didn't want to go back and really deal with what happened. And I ended up filing an appeal. I lost the appeal, but I'm not distraught because I lost the appeal, because the appeal has allowed me to tell my story,
Hmm.
because I went back and got all the legal documents and stuff, and I filed everything in the appellate court. So that's why I'm here now. Otherwise, they would have pretended that none of the stuff had happened.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. One of the questions I was going to ask before, are you because you said you're doing okay probably, but are you okay?
I'm doing fine. You know what? A lot of people think I am in therapy. This stuff, it's been traumatizing. I would
You have
never
to be.
try to pretend that it hasn't been. But I'm
Hmm.
fine because, like I said, prior to the situation, I don't drink alcohol. I try to live a healthy lifestyle. I don't use drugs. My faith has kept me grounded. So I think I'm doing okay. I'm fine.
That's good. That's good. That is really good. From like you said, and like I just said also too. From been in a situation like that, traumatized in 12 years, been in a domestic violence relationship, and then having, your child taken away from you from, the person who was, doing the abuse. Do
Yeah,
you have a relationship with your child?
I have a relationship with my child, and it's only because I have to credit me taking that case into my own hands, because had I not been able to get back in court and kind of get my voice heard, my child would not, I don't think my child would know who I am.
Hmm. Do you feel like although do you feel as though it may be your fault, or do your child maybe blame you that it's your fault that you got taken away, or he or she got taken away from you?
Well, they didn't really know what happened, but now that
Okay,
they
good.
are older, they're
Hmm.
finding out what happened, and they're being able to form their own opinion about stuff. They have social media accounts and stuff like that, and I'm going public with it. And I talk about my mistake that I made. So
I got you. I got you. And more so, what keeps you? I gotta ask this question. It's sort of a weekly question, a prominent question I ask every week on the podcast. What definitely inspires you? Because from everything that you have been through, from having your child get taken away, and you said that you keep your faith, and have to hire attorney after attorney and become attorney yourself, and how the system has let you down over and over and over again. What obviously your faith, but what other is it another thing that keeps you going? If not, what inspires you and definitely keeps you going and motivated?
number one, it is my faith. It's God that keeps me going, because my back was against the wall. And there was a very difficult task to go into court and self represent yourself after you've been railroaded by the system. And also, secondly, my God is number one, my child number two, and helping the community and other people, because you can best believe I'm not the only one that's gone through this.
Okay, yeah.
So just having a voice, just to be an advocate, to help other people to know that other people have gone through this. The system may have silenced you. You may not have documentation of what happened to you, but believe me, there's someone out there that knows what you have experienced if you couldn't get back into court and you are not able to tell your story. I can be a listening ear, and I have compassion for people, and I just want our communities to be better.
Mhm. I agree. I definitely agree. I know it's someone out there that definitely could relate to you and feel where you're coming from. But can you also speak to or share your message that you want to give back to other women out there who maybe don't have or don't have the confidence, or haven't got to that moment in their life yet where they want to open up and share their stories, or whether they feel like it's not going to help the next person, or me just sharing my stories is just going to bring back the past, or certain situations like that. And like you said, you're not the only woman who went through a situation like that. It's women all across the country that does though, and but you are special, like the next woman can be, opening up and being vulnerable and sharing your story like you did though. But yeah, what's the message that you have for young teen girls or young adult women out there that may want to open up and share their story, but just don't feel like they worth it, or no one will hear them?
Well, now with social media and stuff like that, somebody will hear your story. And I would like to tell you that you can live your best life and you do not deserve to be abused or mistreated. I wanted to keep that part of my life secret, but now I'm going public. And with me going public, with me talking about it, it's also a healing process for me. So there's nothing to be ashamed about. You can tell your story, encourage someone, and from an advocate standpoint, I did receive some training to be an advocate. I can't really tell you to leave your situation because you know your abuser, but I can let you know that you don't deserve to be mistreated. I can do that much.
All right, I dig that. I definitely dig that a lot. Like I said, as a main question, I always asking what inspires you and stuff like that. And young ladies, definitely young men and ladies, regardless of whatever type of situation it is, especially if it's traumatic, such, you would get those who will shy away from opening up and telling a story or whatnot.
And
I
I would suggest too, excuse me, I would
no
suggest
no go
too
ahead.
going to therapy, just talking to
Mhm.
an independent person, because that's where the journey first started with me, because I carried a lot of secrets for a lot of years with me. And when I was ordered by the court to go to therapy, that's when I started finding out who I really was. Because I used
Okay.
to always be a people pleaser and I live my life for other people, but that's not me now. Not at all.
You're right. You're right. I mean, that could be stressful. Definitely being that people pleaser and just wanting to please everyone else, and sort of put yourself on the back burner.
Yep.
But you got to realize yourself definitely come first. And like I was saying, being open and sharing their stories. I commend you. I thank you for coming on the show, sharing your story, being open. I always talk about it on the episode as well for me being in a wheelchair, and I talk about where uh other people, I know I'm not the only person that has a disability, but I know a lot of people who may have a disability or gone through what you gone through don't really want to take them layers off and open up and just be themselves, and the best version of you is just being yourself though. And I think
That's the
that's what
key. You have to
yes it
find
is.
out who you are, and that's where the healing takes place.
You're right. You're right. You definitely got to find out who you are. You mentioned social media. Everybody live on the internet. Everybody want to be this person, that person, everything like that. Just you for you, and just be yourself. That's all that works. And
That's
that's
right.
that's really it. That's really it though.
And
Um.
also, and also
What?
what helps me is I work with this organization called Catapult Outreach.
Okay.
It's a nonprofit and it helps victims of domestic violence. We do a lot of stuff in the community. I collaborate with Catapult Outreach. Sherry T. Cribb is the executive director there. I would like to give them a shout out, and I would also like to give everybody that's helped me by allowing me to come on their platforms and stuff and tell my story so that we can heal the communities. This story is about my life. I could have been selfish and said, oh no, I don't want people to know about this. I want people to know about it because the situations like what I've gone through, it ravishes a community. That's one reason why sometimes some of our communities are so messed up, because we always want to keep whatever goes on in our house inside of our house. But we should all realize that that's not working for us now.
Mm, 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 mm. Oh boy, that ain't working at all. We grew up with that, especially if you're black,
Oh,
African
yeah.
American, and what goes on in this house stays on in this house, and it's traumatizing. I can't tell nobody, I can't talk to nobody, and lately in the last year or two, it's been more so acceptable, in society in the universe, that where it's like, oh yeah, you can go to therapy. Oh yeah, you can do this. You can take these layers off and tell this person that you don't know, which is cool, everything that was going on, because it was always you got to be tough, and especially
Yep.
from a man perspective, you don't want to cry, you don't want to tell people your business or whatever like that. So I definitely understand. I definitely
This is a
uh
new generation now, though.
it is.
It's exposure time. All the corruption and the wrong things that have been going on for years, it's time for it to be exposed
Hmm.
so that healing
Hey,
can take place.
you're right. You're right. I dig it. I definitely dig it. You have a book out? You have a book out or anything?
Oh yeah, I've been a contributing author in two books, and actually October 2024 this year, my memoir will be coming out. And
Okay.
it just
Cool.
tells about how I'm an average person that grew up in the South that actually fought the South Carolina family court system. And anybody that's an average person, if they have passion, they can do the same thing. I'm not an extraordinary person. I'm not rich. I'm just a working class person that the system violated. And I decided to expose it.
Hey.
So
Well,
that's
I
what the
believe you.
book is about.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I believe you're doing the deed that you're supposed to be. A question I was going to ask too is, when you were young, what did you sort of see yourself uh being? Because I know when we are little kids, we had these strong and huge and bright imaginations, and when I grow up, I want to do this, I want to do that. But of course, when we hit maybe teenage years, or when we grow up and certain things in life happens where we lose a certain one, or some traumatized happen, and it just leads you down a certain path that you may not have seen yourself, definitely going. Like you said, you're an attorney, you're a motivational speaker, and also,
Oh,
you're.
I'm not an attorney. I'm just a pro se litigant. That's like a
Oh, okay,
self-representing person. I
okay,
have
okay,
legal
okay,
experience only because of my case. I'm not allowed to give any legal advice or anything, but I can tell what happened to me. But I'm not an
okay,
attorney now.
okay.
I actually work in the medical field, and I've
Hmm.
been doing that about 25 years. I have to give God all the credit. I don't look like what I've been through. I know I'm gonna say I do. I know I look younger and stuff, but I don't look my age. I don't look like what I've been through,
Hmm. Well, you
and I
look
thank God for that.
all right, all
And
right.
to answer your question, when I was little, I used to always say I wanted to be a ballerina, but that never happened. But God, I think that God has me on the course that I was supposed to be on, and I'm grateful for that. A lot of people say that I just turned my lemons into lemonade.
That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do, and I
That's
feel like you're
right.
doing it. That's what you got to do, and you're definitely doing it. Congratulations on that, and I appreciate you for sharing your story. So it's awesome, really, really awesome. Other links you guys will be down below in the description here on YouTube, so you can definitely make sure you go check out Evelyn, and also follow her on social media. But before we wrap it up, you guys, man, to take a break, we're gonna play a game, you guys, man. Actually, it's time for the hot seat. The 11:30 podcast, man. All right, all right. Necessarily not a game, but Evelyn, I got 5 questions for you here on the hot seat. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right, all right, all right. First question, number one. What is your biggest fear?
Failure. I'm very competitive.
Mm, very competitive. I, I like it. I like it. I like it. I like people who's very competitive. Just they won't let you win though. But it's all love. It's definitely all love though. But being competitive is real good though. It's real good. And failure. I think is a part of life. So it's definitely gonna happen. I
Yeah.
think failure also teach you about yourself and your future. So that's
But
all
I
cool.
keep
That's
getting,
all.
even when I fail, I keep getting back up. So I'm
You
one of
got
them
to.
type people.
You got to. You definitely got to. If you trip, you fall. You gotta get back up. You fall, you
Yep.
fail. Yeah, get back up. All right. What is your biggest pet peeve?
I'm sort of like a perfectionist. So
Hmm,
to revert back to the case, to file all those papers, you really have to have everything in order. So I found out that I'm a perfectionist. Not
okay.
overly, but I just like for stuff to be in order. That's part of my
Gotcha.
personality.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I dig it. I dig it. All right. Number three. What would you tell your younger self now that you didn't know today?
Younger self, don't ever
Yes.
let anybody mistreat you. Never. Don't settle for that.
Hmm. Okay. I got you. Definitely, definitely. Never settle for no one definitely mistreating you. Okay.
Mm-mm.
What is your favorite genre of music?
R&B, the 90s.
Harm.
Oh, yes.
Definitely. Definitely. I just had a guy on the podcast I was talking to about he's an actually artist, he's a songwriter, and definitely we was talking about bringing the 90s music back, especially
Oh,
R&B music
but wait
because
1 second. I like that new Southern Soul too now. That new
of
Southern
course.
Soul doing some things. Oh,
Of
yeah.
course, of course. R&B definitely got to make its comeback because there's a lot of music out there, but R&B was sort of the music that got you some places, and
Yeah.
hit your soul. So yeah, definitely R&B. I dig it. I dig it. Okay, last question. Uh, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Jamaica. That's on my
Mm,
bucket list. Jamaica.
Jamaica, man. All right, all right. I dig
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Jamaica. I dig it. I dig it. Okay, cool. Evelyn, look here. I appreciate you for taking the invite once again, coming through here on the podcast show. Really fun having you on, you guys. Everyone who's watching, the links and everything will be down below, so you can definitely go follow, visit her website, and check more of Evelyn out, you guys. Or if you would love to have her on your platform. Before you go, any questions, any shout outs, anything you would like to say?
I just want to give a shout out to everybody that's been a part of my journey and that's going to be a part of my journey. I appreciate everything. And we're gonna heal our communities of this epidemic called domestic violence because it robs us of a lot of things that we don't even realize.
So right about that. So right about that. Once again, Evelyn, I appreciate you for coming through on. Definitely a beautiful soul. Once again, it continues to share your amazing story. Wherever you go. Once again, keep doing your thing, and thank you for coming through here on the show. For everyone who's watching, man, sit tight. We'll take a quick break. We gotta digest. Take a deep breath, man. It's
Thank
been
you.
really a great episode. Thank you. No, thank you. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna wrap up the show. We got the WTF moment. Don't move. You're listening and you're watching to the 11:30 podcast.
More than cable for less than cable. More unexpected plot twists. Less unexpected fees. More committing to new shows. Less committing to an annual contract. More being held in suspense. Less being held on hold. More modern. More simple. More than cable for less than cable. Try YouTube TV for free.
Yo, what up? This your boy Kenneth Stones, aka Kofi Weaston.
This your boy D.O.E. Good Brother Bowl.
And we are the Dirty Hills. You already know, man. You tuning in to 11:30 podcast. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Dude, that's my job. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Yeah. And you have been Dirty Hills approved.
Yo, we back here on the 11:30 podcast show, man. Appreciate everyone sticking with me throughout the break. Yo, man, it's been an amazing episode. Evelyn, thank you for coming through here on the 11:30 podcast. Great time having you on. Great story, man. For real. The links are down below. Definitely go follow Evelyn, excuse me. Go follow her and follow her social medias and everything, man. Really, really great episode. Before the break, like I said, I got the WTF moment. So let's go, you guys, man. It's time for the WTF moment of the week, you guys. Yes, WTF moment of the week, you guys. Now check this video out right here, man. Now just imagine you're sitting in your home. Now thank gosh. Now really, before I even say this, now thank gosh, man. The homeowners and everyone that was in this home wasn't even in the home, man, because man, it would have been really sad, really tragic. But just imagine, man, you just sitting outside or so, and you just seeing this happen right here. Check this video out right here, man. Car is literally speeding down the road. Now outside my apartment, man, you see cars flying up and down, man. And I'm just like, somebody gonna crash. Eventually it happened a couple of times though. But yo, I don't think nothing like this, man. This car right here was just going too fast. Need to slow down. I don't know if they were drunk behind the wheel or whatever, dude, but just flew through the house, man, just like a missile. Flew through the house, man. WTF, man. This is WTF all the way, man. I just wish everyone was safe in this, man. But come on, man. Like WTF, man. WTF all the way. You guys, man, that's crazy. I'm telling you, that's crazy. It been a wonderful week, man. It's been a wonderful week. WTF, man. WTF to that. Definitely been a wonderful week. We here mid-April, man. A lot of rain that's going on. Definitely in the DMV and DC area. But hoping to get some sunshine, man. And definitely been, taking my little man out, and he's about to be 2 and about what 3 months. He sure act like he's 2 right now, but the journey of being a dad is definitely been amazing. I've been taking you guys on it ever since I announced you guys, I'm, gonna be a dad. So my little man is definitely getting older. I'm loving it. WWE, man. Obviously, you guys know I'm a big wrestling fan, and a big WWE fan for all the other real wrestling fans out there, whoever, however you want to call it, because some people will be like, "Oh man, you just watch WWE and AEW. How you call yourself a wrestling fan, man? Get out of here, man." I think, man, it's so much the cool thing to do, when especially when WWE was really at like a bad time and everybody just wanted something different, something else than just WWE, and they found something else, whether it was independent wrestling or New Japan Pro Wrestling or whatever else wrestling it was. People was like, "Yeah, man, I dig this more doper than WWE," and which it really was. I ain't gonna admit, man. I ain't gonna not admit it. I'm gonna admit it. But I think that's just the cool thing to do, man, and say, man. But if you love wrestling, love it, man. But my point is, man, they come back to DC in August, Friday Night SmackDown. I'm looking to take my son there because he loves Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso. So we got the draft coming up. Knowing Cody gonna be on SmackDown, seeing who other superstars is definitely gonna be there. Take my son to that, man. So definitely amazing, man. Definitely amazing. Talk Pro Wrestling, you guys, indeed will return. And I said last weekend it will return this coming Saturday. But after Tama Tongo debut on SmackDown and joining the Bloodline, and the whole AEW stuff, man, I was just like, man, let's get on this joint and chat. Shout out to Jason and shout out to my guy Slim from Straight Through the Ropes, man. Podcast with my guy Beeline, the whole Beeline Entertainment, Brian B. But you guys, man, yes, Talk Pro Wrestling will indeed return next Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. Central, as I do the predictions, get ready for the draft, the WWE draft, and also as WWE Backlash, man, sort of unfolds, man. So definitely tap into that. And also Commission Talk, man, we live. So tune into that, man. The 11:30 podcast, YouTube channel, Buzzing with Marlo and Brian B, man. Every Wednesday, 5 p.m. We're gonna be talking at Wrestle Talk. It's Wednesday, Wrestle Talk Wednesday. Let me get it right. Wrestle Talk Wednesday. But you guys, man, enough of rambling on for me. It's been a great show. WTF, man. Like, stay safe on the road, man. Don't be flying through houses, man. For real. But you guys, man, it's been an amazing show. Shout out to Evelyn once again. All the links are down below in the description. So get at it, man. You guys, man, stay safe, man. Stay safe, stay blessed. Give all the glory to God, man. Won't he do it? Yo, until next time, you guys, man. Yo, it's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, and I'm out.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 11:30 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 11:30 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one. He the one, nigga. So Breeze, baby. He the one with me. So Breeze, baby. Let's get it. You with me. Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, you know it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options.